Hey guys, this is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are watching that hashtag show. Ooh-yah!
All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Johnny Dope Kicks here with,
Jessica Keys on.
and we're here to talk about all things Toku. So here's the thing: as you guys know, we're on a show called Henshin, Hangout, and I love Toku, but I've only got recently into the past few years. And so, as you guys know, Justin knows a lot of stuff, and so he's very generously offered to teach me and Jezzer about different Tokatsu things, different histories of Henshin and camaraderie and Sentai shows and whatnot. And so today we're just gonna talk about the show, some of the history of Sentai.
Right. Okay. Right off the bat, Johnny, what do you think was the show that saved Sentai?
Yes, I know this one. This one. Okay, so in America we called it Power Rangers Turbo, but in Japan they called it Car Ranger. And Car Rangers actually a show that kind of helped save Sentai. It was a kind of a slump, and it was did really well after the last show, which was Old Ranger. And the thing about it was they kind of helped bring back the franchise, which is funny though because here in America, Turbo Ranger actually almost killed the franchise.
All right. That's not bad. And I will say, you were about a good amount correct.
Wait, what now?
But there's a little bit wrong about that statement.
What?
No, okay, hold on.
I went to red stuff.
No, listen, Johnny, you are right. Car Ranger did do a lot of good after O Ranger. O Ranger was a darker show that didn't connect with the audience, specifically after a certain event in Japanese history.
Exactly, yeah.
So they had to recontextualize the show, and it didn't connect at the end
Yeah,
of the
because
day.
I remember I heard about that because it was supposed to be this dark and gritty, military, fighting show.
Yeah.
But after, a certain, tragedy happened, they changed it, and they tried to put more comedy in there, but it just didn't gel together.
It didn't
because
gel
they already
together.
had their plan, it kind of took things off track.
Right, and so they made Car Ranger a show that was dedicated to be funny in the beginning, and it stayed funny all the way through. It's a great show. I would definitely recommend watching Car Ranger. And you're right, the inverse of Car Ranger being so great and popular as opposed to Turbo, which wasn't that good.
Getting baked into a pizza is never a good idea.
In the context of Power Rangers. In the context of Car Ranger, hella funny.
Exactly.
But the real show that honestly saved Sentai was the famous, very, very famous, Chojin Sentai Jetman.
Wait, what? Really? Jetman?
Jetman.
Yeah, well, wait, okay, cool. But, how? How did it save Sentai?
Mostly, and I got a lot of information from Tokusatsu Network's article about it written by Tom Constantine, and he brought up a really good point, and I think he's right. The big thing about Jetman is that when Jetman came out, that was post Five Man, a show that was struggling in Sentai. At that point, Sentai was mostly written by one writer, Hideo Sota, and he was the main writer from Bioman on, and Five Man just didn't connect, and it was the year that people were like, I think Sentai's finally out. So they got a new writer in, Togishi Inoue, and he was going to become the new writer for Jetman, and the goal for Jetman was, hey, listen, Sentai's probably done after this, is what the network probably told them. And so they were like, it's probably done after this, just do one more show, do what you want.
Wait, so this sounds kind of interesting because that sounds very reminiscent of what happened here in America.
RPM?
Power Rangers in Space.
That's true.
Because Power Rangers Space, they were pretty much told that was the last season.
Yeah.
So they decided to break all the rules, go all out, and it ended up actually saving the franchise here in America. So this is pretty much their Power Rangers in Space.
Yeah, and it's funny because I brought up RPM, same scenario there. RPM was going to be Disney's last year, and they basically wrote what is considered by many to be one of the best Power Ranger seasons.
That is true.
And along with In Space. Funny what happens when you're put under the gun.
This is true.
and you have the worry of, hey, the thing that's famous is gonna probably die. Do what you want. And Jetman did what it wanted.
Yeah, and funny enough, the reason why we're talking about that now is because, as you guys know, on Henshin Hangout, we're coming up with a new Sentai series, but sadly enough, there's a lot of rumors that this might be one of the last seasons of Sentai because the ratings have been steadily going down. So as we've seen, they've been trying a lot of new things to make this new show and this next Sentai really popular. So let's see what we can learn from Jetman. So what did Jetman do that helped save Sentai? What did they bring to the table that was new and different?
In my opinion, Jetman brought intense amount of drama and extreme amount of character work. And in a way, the best way to look at Jetman is Claremont X-Men of the 80s.
Whoa, seriously?
Yes, absolutely. It brought an idea that it was 4 normal people get thrust into being Super Sentai, and one Red Ranger who also, while dealing with a real hardcore dramatic event, has to find a way to get them ready, get them prepared, and to get them to become a team. Hilariously, what's going on with Beast Morphers right now in the first episode is that, in a weird way, there's some elements of Jetman in there.
Interesting.
Ravi, who's the Blue Ranger in Beast Morphers, is the only one who's been trained to be a Beast Morpher, or be a Power Ranger, whereas Devin is definitely a civilian who got thrown into this, who's now the Red Ranger, and then Zoe is a washout who becomes the Yellow Ranger. So,
it's interesting. And low-key kind of reminds me of Space, too, because in Space, Andros was the only Red Ranger in space, and granted, though the team did have previous, like, Power Ranger experience,
right.
They weren't used to, like, going out to space, going to different planets, being in the ship, so they were kind of like fish out of water in a way. They had a little bit of experience with some of the same elements. This is interesting.
Absolutely. And with Jetman, it brought those elements in, but also decided to up the villain ante. Vyram, in my opinion, one of the best Sentai villains of all time. If anything, very similar to what we talk about in Henshin Hangout every week, where we talk about the Time Jackers.
Right.
They are a group of villains who, they're kind of on the same side, but they're also not. And they definitely are on for their own personal gain. And every week, it's them one-upping each other. I'm better at this, or I'm going to do this. The show is filled with wall-to-wall drama. The show is filled with romance. And a love triangle that is very rare in Sentai. Sentai does not do this. There's a love triangle between the Red Ranger, the Black Ranger, and the Pink Ranger. Oh, I'm sorry, not the Pink Ranger, the White Ranger.
So wait, there's actually like a legit love triangle.
Yeah, a legit love triangle.
We haven't even seen that in some of the recent Sentais we've been watching. We didn't see that in Gokaiger.
No.
We didn't see that in Old Ranger. We haven't really seen that in a lot of Sentais we've been watching lately.
They don't do a lot of romance in Sentai. This is one of the few shows that does. And going into it, the X-Men mentality, like I brought up, if you look at each member of the team, there's a little bit of an X-Men element to them. Black Condor is essentially Wolverine.
Right.
That, hey, if you want to say Gambit, sure, let's not lie, he's Wolverine.
But he's the rogue. He's out there doing what he wants to do type deal.
And he always butts heads with the main Red Ranger, the Cyclops.
So was this one of the first instances? So this sounds to me like very classic Blue Ranger. Like usually that second in command, who's like the second command, but they get those Starscream elements to them, but they feel they could do a better job. Was this one of the first shows to do that?
This is definitely one of the first shows where like Black and Red fought a lot.
Oh wow!
And when I mean fought, like not just arguing, they threw punches at each other.
Seriously?
Hardcore punches. But also, it's not just them. You also have Akko, who's Blue Ranger, and she's absolutely the Kitty Pryde, the Kitty Pryde, the Jubilee of the team, the young girl who's like got the full of energy. Then you have Raita, who's the Yellow Ranger. And he's absolutely, in my opinion, he's like Hank McCoy without the super genius.
So the smart one.
He's not so smart, but he's the fun one. He's the kind one. He's the one that's almost a heart of the team sometimes.
And that's interesting because again, we see those same elements. We usually always have a comedy one. We always have a smart one.
Yeah.
And we also have a character like this, the hard team in like modern Sentai. So what you're telling me is that this show was the building block for the formula they use for Sentai going forward.
Absolutely, no. And even their commander, who's literally named Commander, is one of the coolest commanders in Sentai.
Very original name.
Yeah, and a very original name. Also one where I'm noticing that, again, going back to Beast Morphers, their new commander is and Jetman's commander is a strong female. In Beast Morphers right now, their commander, a strong female. And I'm hoping in Beast Morphers she gets to be as good as the one in Jetman, because the one in Jetman is amazing. Cool. Especially at the end where she pilots a robot. Spoiler, she pilots a robot by herself.
Oh, that's badass.
Oh, it is.
I want to watch this now.
No, the show is full of some of the best action, some of the best drama, and just honestly some of the most fun characters in Sentai. And in fact, it's a very influential Sentai show. To the point when Gokaiger did...
I remember this, yeah.
Yeah, they did the Jetman tribute episode. And
in the episode, they even kind of referenced and said that within Sentai, Jetman's like very highly respected. It's like looked at as like one of the OG teams and has like all this clout about it. And that's really interesting because I always thought that always kind of stood out to me. It was like, wait, they're not the first team. Why is Jetman so respected?
Yeah, and it's kind of cool that in Gokaiger, in universe, the Sentai team that even other Sentai teams goes, they did really good, is Jetman. And because of the fact that Jetman is such an influential show, and saved, honestly, and that's real, because of the fact it's so good and it gave a lot of depth that Sentai didn't have in that same degree. And there's some shows that are about as good. I'm a big fan of Live Man, and Live Man also does a lot of great depth. Jetman just really sung to audiences when it came out. And it's also funny because when the following show came out, which is hilariously Jew Ranger.
Oh, wow. For us, it's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
The fans at Jetman rejected Jew Ranger.
Really?
They thought that show was too goofy and too silly after the hardcore darkness that was in Jetman. Does that sound familiar?
A little bit.
So there you go.
Awesome. So I learned something here. Hopefully you guys did too. So we learned that Jetman is actually the real series that saves Sentai.
Absolutely.
I gotta be real though, I'm a little bit disappointed. Thought you were gonna talk more about Jets, but maybe next time.
Yeah, I know. The show's
Yeah.
a little lacking in Jets. I
Yeah.
apologize for that.
But super dope though. So here's the thing. So we're gonna be doing some of these Toku educational videos. We're gonna be schooling everyone about Henshin, and just gonna be schooling me and Jezer. So do us a favor in the comments. Let us know what do you want to know more about Henshin? What do you know more about Kamen Rider? And then Jester's gonna tell us.
Yeah.
So
maybe even some other things like Ultraman.
ooh,
I know.
I would love to talk about Ultraman because how they only make one movie a year, some history there and everything like that.
Save
That'd be
it.
cool to talk about.
We'll talk about that.
Yes, we will. So remember, thanks for tuning in. Remember, this is that hashtag show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date with everything trending.
In geek pop culture.
We out.